When is Clash at the Castle?
Saturday.
Tomorrow or Friday? Saturday. All right.
I haven't read it, but what's this thing you sent me here? And what is there something that I should know or what about this? You sent me some email that says Tony Khan media call.
Yeah, no, I just sent it because
Disco said a link to the story.
Yeah, Disco said send more stuff. So,
yeah, I don't get the Observer. So when Joe gets stuff and everything, they can like copy and paste or download. I want to see it every now and then.
I'm reading it right now a little bit. This is a very interesting thing. Did you read this, Disco?
I read it.
Okay, listen to this. See if it doesn't tie into my theory that I had. Khan was asked to address how he handled the announcements of both the men and women's interim world titles. As a Twitter user shared recently in a side-by-side video, then world champion CM Punk got 8 minutes to announce his health situation, while women's champion Thunder Rosa had considerably less time to announce her injury. Khan disagreed with the notion they were similar situations, saying that an 8-minute Punk promo would be better ratings draw than a Rosa one. Additionally, he was told hours before the Dynamite where Rosa made her announcement that she was hurt and needed to pull out. He said he has seen more interest in the interim title four-way Sunday than the original match between Rosa and Toni Storm, while also saying you can't please everyone.
So what was your theory?
Remember I told you I didn't think she was hurt, that maybe she was being punished?
Right. Oh, so that might be it then, huh?
I'm just saying she probably could be hurt, but you don't know what to believe anymore, right?
Right, yeah. There's definitely not a lot of it's definitely the messages we get, the news that we get out of AEW is definitely narrative driven, and it's definitely favorable towards
right. Nobody wants to look bad, but you got to understand the same problems he's having in his dressing room, I have in mine, and they're in WWE and they're everywhere. You can't put a lid on everything. It's going to happen, and a lot of it isn't your fault. You're dealing with different, very fragile egos more than before. A very sensitive, entitled locker room more than before. They want everything now. They don't want to work for anything. There are no shortcuts, but they want shortcuts to everything. They don't give a what we went through. To them, it's like, well, that's your problem, And so he's got to deal with all that. And you've got a really young roster that's very immature. You know what I'm saying? So do I. My roster is very young. So I got to deal with a lot of maturity issues and a lot of sensitivity issues, and it is what it is,
Can I use that? Can I use that for Patreon, or do you not? Because I just,
sure, why not?
No, I didn't know if Konnan wanted him saying he wasn't sure if she was really injured or not on released. So that's all I was asking.
It's kind of like it's a plausible. It's news.
Okay.
He's dealt with her. She told him it's like this is definitely newsworthy. I would say. What do you agree, Konnan? You're not burying anybody. You're just giving your opinion on interactions that have happened with you, and based on you're reading this now, and it's like this gets me thinking.
Right. Well, just everything gets me thinking nowadays because everybody's trying to spin some narrative, right? You don't even know who's and that's the thing. Well, when you do tell the truth, like I do, because I really don't, and I get a lot of heat for it, or like you do,
right?
It's like
give me a perfect example.
It's almost like people want to be. You know what I'm saying? Just so they don't feel bad, just so they're not offended, you people. And you're part of the problem.
Right. Let me tell you this. So it was funny because I tweeted this yesterday, right? So I was reading on Dave's Twitter, and they were talking about how good Serena's match on Monday did in the ratings, and that how the Serena match would affect AEW this week, right? Serena Williams.
She won in the second round. She beat the number 3 ranked.
But she did big numbers on Monday.
Right.
So I was going into Wednesday. There was Dave and a Twitter thing. We're going back and forth, talking about how this could affect the ratings. So I tweeted this. There are already excuses being made for AEW ratings this week before the show. Somehow, and I put in big letters, tennis is now competition. You can't make this up. I'd like to see previous data that shows tennis has affected the ratings of a wrestling show. And then I quote you my own thing called the excuses era. Because we're already making, because every week, it's like the quality of the show never has anything to do with the ratings of the show. Well, it's always, let me finish because it's funny. But, bro, people think I'm an idiot, right? Oh, stupid job or anything. Bro, I used to study the minute-by-minute ratings when I worked in WCW and stuff. And one of the shows, we've always talked about this, one of the trends that is very obvious and really can't be denied is when you go head-to-head with Monday Night Football, Monday Night Football is the highest-rated show on cable every single year, okay? Whenever you go head-to-head, if the game is a blowout, you will get fans switching off the football game and watching wrestling. But if the game is really good, forget it. Wrestling does not have a chance that night because everybody is tuning in. They see it's because it's the highest rated show on cable. Everybody's tuning in and watching the game, right? But this week, Joe, what were the ratings for AEW this week?
Gotcha. Hang on one sec.
I know what they are.
Oh, I hadn't seen it yet.
1,020,000. They
Okay.
got over a million.
Good.
Okay, and
Right.
I was thinking, and the reason I tweeted this, okay, is because my point was, dude, tennis. It's like no AEW fans are not watching this show tonight to watch the tennis. The AEW hardcore audience, they have their audience. It's not being affected by this. The only thing that's going to affect the AEW ratings that we have shown over the past 3 years is playoffs. The ratings are higher for the playoffs and sports, everything. They're big, especially when you get into the finals and stuff. And they get, they even get preempted because their numbers are so good. It's the only thing that affects it. Tennis is not affecting the ratings. And it proved my point that this show was not going to be affected by tennis because it did better than it did. Like, they were making it sound like it was going to do worse than it did the week before. Like, bro, this is a go-home show for AEW. Nobody's not watching this, because of Serena Williams playing tennis. And I just thought, I just think it's funny that I was correct because tennis does not affect the ratings on wrestling, and because it did a high number. It outdrew. Okay, this is the funniest thing. It outdrew AEW. Okay, like the tennis did really good numbers again last night, but it just shows you that audience, there's no crossover there with tennis. Like, you could sit there and make a pretty safe. Do you think it's a safe judgment to make that tennis fans and wrestling fans are kind of two completely different audiences, especially for Serena, which was the last thing to say. So Serena draws a lot of women, and women don't watch AEW. That's the worst demographic they draw. So go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge crossover, but you also got to remember what we're seeing in Serena is something historic because she isn't ranked. She lost her last couple of tournaments like very early. The last one, I think she lost in the first round.
Right,
okay.
Yeah.
And she's going against like the number 2 or number 3 player in the world in New York, possibly her last chance, at a major tournament. Looks like she's ready to retire. So it is a special night. And a lot of people probably say, you know what? And she does attract a lot of women, but she also is the greatest female tennis player of all time, African American. So I'm sure she drew interest.
Yeah, she did.
But this show was strong, and they've been on a roll lately. Their shows have gotten better because to me it was like 20 pounds of in a 10-pound bag, and it was very confusing, and all the run-ins and all. They still have some things that they need to work on, just like WWE. But I'm happy because all 3 shows have gotten better, and that's competition. And finally, we're starting to see each one trying to outdo each other. You know what I'm saying?
And I think bro, everybody can sit there. We're usually right on this. When we talk about why the numbers are good and why the numbers are bad, right? And we said maybe what was it, 3-4 weeks ago, bro, you're getting Punk and Danielson back. They're higher draw. So the numbers go up a little bit, right? So
even better, you get old school Punk. You're not getting all shucks. I'm happy to be here. I love you guys. Right. Lee Moriarty.
Right.
Now you're getting Punk with a edge. That's a very interesting Punk.
Right.